has the right to remain silent. And I think it's something we need to get people to understand, that there's what we call, the right not to incriminate oneself. It is a privilege that anyone, whether it is invoked in the context of civil or criminal proceedings, has a liberty to decide not to say anything. So if Yoko is saying that Shatawale was unable to identify or disclose the person he purchased the vehicle from, that is his choosing. He can decide not to say anything. You get it? And he can even decide to tell Yoko that I don't know that the person, but he knows the person. And he will be willing, or his lawyers will be willing to prove him and he's put before a court of competent jurisdiction. And after, let me be clear. You and I have had this conversation over and over again, and the position of the law is clear. In the Matitebu case, which was decided in 2019, the law is clear. 48 hours is 48 hours.
Now, in some few hours, the National Democratic Congress will open nominations for the Tamale Central by-election primary. So far, some prospective aspirants have confirmed their interest in contesting the party's parliamentary primary slated for September 6. Our Northern Regional correspondent Christopher Mwaku caught up with one of them, Dr. Mohammed Seydou Fitta.
So far, several individuals have made their intentions known that they will be taking nomination forms to contest in that constituency. Notable amongst them is one Seydou Fitta, a lecturer at the University for Development Studies, who says he is a grassroots person and is poised on leading the Tamale Central Constituency.
The Commission about 2 days ago came out to declare when they are going to conduct the election for the Tamale Central Constituency. And our party, the Great National Democratic Congress, also declared the seat vacant and will be picking nomination forms tomorrow. And after assessing myself, looking through the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and marrying it to the National Democratic Congress NDC party's constitution, I think I am very qualified to contest for the vacant seat to replace my late brother and minister, Honorable Murtala Mohammed, so that I can continue with the good works he left.
Now, former Dansia Sokwa MP Kobna Tahiru Mohammed has given the strongest indication yet of his intention to return to court to appeal the legal costs awarded against him in pursuit of the Dansia Sokwa parliamentary seat. Now, his initial election petition was quashed by the court after he failed to make the required appearances. Speaking to journalists, Katie Hammond explained that his lawyers missed the deadline to file some key documents with the court by just one day, which cost him the case. Stanley Niblo has more.
According to Katie Hammond, the election that ousted him was not free and fair, alleging that missing ballot boxes were later discovered under a tree behind the Rabito clinic at Dompoase. His petition challenging the outcome was struck out, with the court awarding a cost of 60,000 cedis against him. Katie Hammond said he reluctantly asked his lawyers to withdraw further action after the filing deadline was missed, but he has since served notice of his intention to appeal the cost imposed on him.
And I'm told that the judge awarded 60,000 or so. Well, I'm appealing. And you should know that this time I'm appealing in my own right. I would put my own signature. I'm appealing as the appellant in person. I'm not going to go to any lawyer. I'll do it, So, yeah, no, the cost of that. If you draw your case, you can't go and appeal. But the cost of 60,000, I think it's completely unfair.
When asked whether he would stage a comeback in the 2028 general elections, he simply told his constituents to watch this space.
I'm not in retirement, if that's what he thinks. In any event, as I said to you, watch this space. The NDC won the Asokwa election by default. Well, that's what I mean by default. Our MPP, look, up to today, when our MPP people talk about the NDC, this and that, I say, come on, leave the NDCs alone. For whatever reason, we, the MPP, we decided to hand over power on a silver platter. That's what we did.
Although no longer MP, Katie Hammond maintained that he continues to serve the people of Adansa Sokwa by addressing pressing community concerns, which, according to him, the incumbent has failed to do.
The reason for that is because I single-handedly have developed that constituency every single development project.
Now, the Government and Hospital Pharmacists Association says it welcomes the swift action of the Health Minister on the recent alleged attack on health workers at the Accra Regional Hospital. Well, a newly released CCTV footage shows a social media influencer, Ralph St. Williams, allegedly attacking health officials following his displeasure with the services rendered at the facility. Well, the minister has since set up a committee to investigate the alleged assault. GOSPA says it supports the decision of the Health Minister, Minta Kando. Dr. Emmanuel Wusu Owiafe is the national chairman of GOSPA.
If the action from the minister is very welcoming, we fully support the call. We are very elated that the perpetrators have been arrested. And I think by and large there has been an assurance of enhanced security measures at the hospital. And then we are also mindful of the support that has been rendered to the affected staff. And so we welcome that development.
Now, Ghana's prisons are bursting at the seams with overcrowding, poor sanitation, and limited facilities, pushing the system to a breaking point. Well, a recent presidential amnesty has brought some relief, but concerns remain over whether lasting reforms will follow. Wisdom Safo has more in this report.
Ghana's prisons have long been described as overcrowded, poorly ventilated, and unhealthy, with disease and death all too common. As of 11th August 2025, the country's prisons held 14,044 inmates, far above the approved capacity of 10,265. This left 3,779 more people in custody than the system was built to hold, creating an overcrowding rate of 36.8%. President John Dramani Mahama, during his swearing-in of key security officers, acknowledged the crisis and pledged to introduce alternative sentencing and rehabilitation. His goal is to shift prisons from being mere places of confinement to centers of reform.
Overcrowding remains a major challenge in our prison service, and my administration will intensify efforts to implement alternative sentencing methods to ease the pressure on our prison facilities. At the same time, the prison service must embrace modernization with digital record keeping and enhanced security measures to ensure effective management.
And that's all we have for you for the 6 a.m. news right here on 3FM 92.7. My name is Judith Brown. A pleasure coming to you this morning. Do stay tuned. Business News is up next. Bye-bye.
Three FM.
Accra gets busy on this frequency. 92.7 3FM.
Follow us on social media. Twitter at 3FM 927. Facebook at 3FM 927. And also on 3news.com.
And hello there, good morning and welcome to the Business News on Sunrise. Coming up, Minister of Communication, Digitalization and Innovation halts Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission's enforcement exercise following chaos that accompanied the process, and Japanese business to invest over $100 million to make Ghana Africa's first AI-powered agricultural hub. I am Michael Obodu. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please don't go anywhere. Well, thank you so much for your time. Straight into our top story. And the Minister of Communication, Digitalization and Innovation, Sam George, has ordered the halt of the enforcement exercise by the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission following challenges that fraught the process. The Commission had begun the exercise earlier this week, enforcing the law that mandates courier service providers, including Okada riders providing such services, to be licensed to carry out such activities. But many of these bike riders who had their bikes seized in the process argue that they were not informed of the directive. In a post on X, the minister directed that the process be suspended to ensure enough public engagement. Now, away from that, as President John Dramani Mahama embarks on a global drive to attract foreign direct investment into the country, a Japanese firm is set to invest $100 billion into Ghana's agricultural sector to make the country the first to have an AI agriculture-powered hub. The deal will finance 86,000 smallholder farmers across 122,000 acres and is expected to double incomes with a 95% repayment rate. This is in line with the government infrastructure drive under the Feed Ghana program. Now, away from that, the Bank of Ghana has moved to tighten control of the foreign exchange market, stopping large companies from making foreign currency cash withdrawals with banks unless they have matching deposits. The central bank says the practice by bulk oil distributors and mining firms has been draining liquidity and weakening efforts to stabilize the cedi.
The central bank is cracking down on what it calls an unhealthy practice in the foreign exchange market. In a new directive, the Bank of Ghana has ordered commercial banks to immediately stop paying out foreign currency cash to large corporates unless those withdrawals are backed by equivalent deposits. Officials explain that the move targets bulk oil distributors and mining companies whose frequent dollar withdrawals have been putting pressure on forex liquidity and undermining stability of the cedi. Banks are now required to keep proper documentation to confirm the source of funds for every foreign currency payout. Failure to comply, the bank warns, will attract sanctions. The central bank, however, assures that the vital sectors such as petroleum supply and mineral exports will continue to receive the necessary support. It says government has already put in place mechanisms to make forests available for legitimate imports. The Bank of Ghana insists the measures are to ensure stability in the currency market while keeping essential supply chains running smoothly.
And that was the 3 Business News Desk report. Now, the Bank of Ghana, the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry has justified its calls for a reduction in the policy rate to 20% by year end, arguing that it will not erode the macroeconomic gains chalked by the government. The current rate stands at 25%, and some analysts have warned that a sharp cut of 500 basis points could trigger inflationary pressures. However, speaking to 3 Business, Chief Executive Officer of the Chamber, Mark Bedu-Abwaje, said the economy has made sufficient progress to warrant a significant rate cut.
On average, 2 years for it to affect other macroeconomic variables, especially inflation. So the one that we are enjoying now, 28%, is the reduction in the policy rate that we did years back. Now, if you reduce the policy rate now to 20%, its effect on inflation will take in Ghana its average is about 3 quarters. It will take about 3 quarters for it to affect inflation. So I don't think that reducing the policy rate now will immediately affect inflation, but it will take some time. By that time, we would have strengthened our economy, build a very strong productive capacity to be able to reduce the inflation. So I am not in support, from where I sit, in support that they should keep the policy rate very high. We have the room for us to be able to ease the monetary policies to support the fiscal policy that we have adopted of consolidating our economy.
You heard the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu-Abwaje, speaking. Now, the Ghana fixed income market is witnessing renewed investor confidence, with trade volumes and product maturity payments pointing to resilience in the system. Analysts say the development signals a gradual return of stability to Ghana's capital market. This report has the details.
Managing Director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Frank Bell, says the fixed income market has seen a significant rebound, with volumes traded hitting 143.21 billion cedis, a 51% rise compared to the same period last year. He was speaking at a Facts Behind the Figures session organized for Bayport Savings and Loans.
The maturity was 17th August, and we are happy to announce that it's been fully paid. That shows the resilience of that market. And so on that basis, I will stand here and encourage all companies out there that market is there. You can come and raise short-term short-term funds to meet your short-term liquidity so that your businesses can move.
Meanwhile, Managing Director of Bayport, Akwesi Ajiman, welcomed the improvement in macroeconomic conditions under the Mahama-led administration, noting that it offers relief for businesses in the financial sector.
I would say this is a very welcome. We really, really welcomed it. And for us who were prepared, in life there's something called opportunity meets readiness, and I think we were ready. In terms of the macro environment, yes, we have already reduced our interest rates. So effective 1st of this month, we reduced our interest rates by almost 6%. And just to allow our customers to get a lot more.
The Ghana Stock Exchange is encouraging more companies to take advantage of the market to raise short-term funds and boost their operations.
That was a 3 Business News Desk report. Now, Fitch Ratings says credit conditions for emerging markets are expected to worsen in the second half of this year. The ratings agency explains that the combination of new U.S. tariffs and slowing international demand will create tougher financing environments for many issuers, despite the resilience seen in the global economy and the capital markets earlier in 2025. The UK-based firm has revised its sovereign sector outlooks for Asia Pacific and Eastern Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa to deteriorating and down from neutral. It also continues to keep its outlook for Greater China in the same category. However, Fitch maintains a neutral outlook for sovereigns in the Middle East, North Africa, and Latin America, noting that these regions are less exposed to tariff pressures. We'll turn our attention now to the currency and commodities market and bring you updates.
On the interbank foreign exchange markets, the dollar is selling at 10 cedis 96 pesos. It's gained 15 pesos. The British pound is selling at 14 cedis 70 pesos. It gained 12 pesos. The euro is selling at 12 cedis 72 pesos. It also gained 12 pesos. However, be guided that these figures will be higher at a forex bureau near you. On the global commodities market, Brent crude is trading at $67.58 per barrel. Gold is trading at $3,340 per ounce, down by $8. Cocoa is trading at $7,650 per ton, down by $205.
And those were updates from the currency and the commodities market, bringing an end to the business news on Sunrise. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe.